I remember this one time in junior college. I had a conversation with a young lady, and it was for 4 hours. We talked about classes, we talked about everything going on. I believe that she had come from a different city, from LA. She wasn't a native, and I told her I was a native. We had a good conversation for 4 hours, and it was one of the best conversations I had before I met my wife. I don't want to stress that. Of course, I also had other conversations with members of the opposite sex in the past, but I think now my wife and I have pretty good conversations that top the ones in the past. But I want to stress that for a minute and just kind of say that the art of conversation, the art of really talking to someone and getting to know them as a person and getting to hear them what they're saying about different subjects, whether it be personal or social or even political. It's good to hear the other side or what the person has to say so that you can understand them and get to know them better as a person. I feel that we as men have ruined that because we often call women out, calling them by different names or just our total attitudes. We really put a distance between them and ourselves, and that's something that has hurt our relationships, I would say, in the past decades because we don't know how to really talk to women or really get to know them as individuals. Of course, they all have bodies that excite our minds, but again, when it comes down to getting to know them as a person, I'm sure they are looking forward to the day that at least nearly all men would like to appreciate them for what they have inside their head instead of just what they have inside their clothes. So I hope that you know that they will come because women that I've known, women that I've talked to before I met my wife, but especially my wife, have really high intelligence. Uh, Ambulance is coming and it's passing. But the women that I've met, high intelligence, know what they're talking about, can string sentences together, and really have a lot on their mind. Um, they have opinions, very valuable opinions about what's happening in today's society, what's happening around the world, and in our communities. And you get to learn from these individuals. You get to learn from these people. And of course, as an author who also deals with writing stories, it's good to know people and their attitudes and where they're coming from. So it helps with the things that I write or the pieces of the opinion pieces that I would write too, because you get to hear different perspectives. You get to hear different attitudes and how they feel towards a certain subject or a certain political matter or social matter. It's important, even romantic. Um, So I would just say that the art of conversation, talking to someone, getting to know them, getting to understand their life story, and they have life stories that are inspirational, and then life stories that are just unfortunate, but they do have the experiences that most people often live, but they have the experiences that they go through, and they become better people because of that. All I can just tell you is that when you get to know someone, when you really break down the physical, when you get to know them for the mental and really the spiritual and everything else that's in between, you have a deeper appreciation for these people, these individuals that you talk to, because you realize it's not so much the size of the clothes they wear, or the size of the body parts, but it's also the size of their minds and what they have to offer, what they should offer, and what we should accept if they offer that to us outside the physical. And this is why when I write poems, in the love poems in the past, I always write about how a man feels towards a woman that you can never get, but he does always wish the woman well because the woman has made her choice, and the woman has definitely choices to make And sometimes we men struggle with that because we feel like, hey, it could be us, it should be us, and it's not us. And therefore, we feel lost, we feel left out. And men usually don't want to feel that way. We want to feel like we are the victors. We want to feel like we are the champions, that we deserve you and we should have you. And other times, that's not the case. But when you talk to somebody, when you talk to an individual and get to know them, you will understand the reason why and what they're looking for and why they're looking for a certain individual. It may not be easy, but at least you get to understand what they're talking about and what they have to say. But it always goes in the name of love or in the name of social settings or even in the name of religious settings. You do find out where the person is coming from by just hearing them. And most times I feel that people want to be heard. And if they don't, then they'll feel that they're being heard, as I heard that many times. Um, then they feel like whatever they have to say doesn't matter. And we have to start learning that whatever a person says does matter. And we should always hear what they have to say. I, that one was for somebody who I know personally. But seriously, it's always important to get to know a person for the inside, for their mind instead of their body. The body. Yes, they may be extremely attractive facially, um, body wise, everything else that goes along with that. But unless you get to know them on the inside, unless you get to know them for who they are and where they stand in life, then you will never be satisfied. Now, I'm speaking as a man in this situation. You have to find someone that's compatible with you, simpatico, as they like to call it, and someone who has your back as much as they have theirs. Someone who is very valuable to talk to, that you get to know and you really enjoy hanging around and being with. That's what really conversation is all about. Finding out that person's right for you and that person is right for you. Make sure you stay with that person. Make sure that person is who you want in life, because guess what? You can make a lifetime out of being with the person that you feel is going to make you a much better individual, and you can make them the same as well. But again, it all goes with the art of conversation, and I feel that, at least from my end of it, being a man, that we have to do a better job of that in order to communicate with the opposite sex. Otherwise, it ain't gonna be cracking at all. But I hope what I had to say did help. You can check below the description box to see my website if you're so inclined to do so. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I hope that you got something out of it, and also too that you will find more and you read my books. But again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Really appreciate the support. Please continue to do that. Subscribe if you feel so inclined. And until the next time, I wish each and every one of you a good day, week, or evening, and always take care.